Hello, I'm Phil Ertl, Superintendent of the Wauwatosa School District. Today I have Nicole Marble with me. Nicole is our Director of Secondary Education, and right now she and I are going to talk a little bit more about AVID. So Nicole, let's start off by explaining what AVID is exactly.
Sounds great, Dr. Ertl, absolutely. First and foremost, AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. It is a research-based and school-wide approach to curriculum and rigorous instruction that has been adopted by more than 7,500 schools nationally and internationally and reaches more than 2 million students. AVID's school-wide framework aligns a school's instruction, systems, leadership, and culture, so it's a student-centered and equity-focused system. By doing this, AVID's framework can help close the opportunity gap and prepare students to be global citizens that are college and career ready. AVID's framework also supports relevance for students and relationships between students and adults and students with one another. And all of this aligns with the themes of our district's equity plan: achievement, belonging, and opportunity.
Sounds great, Nicole. Can you talk a little bit more about what this means for teaching and learning?
Of course. AVID's approach to instruction focuses on yet another acronym, WICR. WICR stands for Writing, Inquiry, Collaboration, Organization, and Reading. Student engagement is grounded in a variety of WICR strategies that are research-based and student-centered. Students are empowered to be active agents of their learning through these strategies. As I mentioned earlier, AVID aims to align instruction, systems, leadership, and culture. In other words, upon full implementation, students and staff will all be speaking the same language. For example, a specific strategy around inquiry will mean the same thing to a student and teacher in 2nd grade that it does to a student and teacher in the 12th grade. Now, obviously, there will be variance in the actual task, but the strategy and high-level thinking will remain constant. Once AVID has reached a level of sustainment in a school, anyone could walk into a classroom and observe students doing the talking and thinking about the course subject. Through AVID, the teacher's role shifts from being the sole individual in the room who houses all of the knowledge to being the planner and facilitator of the learning. And when this happens, students and teachers serve in a reciprocal relationship where they learn from one another and teach one another.
So to be clear, this is true for all of our students and all of our schools that are adopting AVID?
Yes, that is correct. Perhaps now is an appropriate time for me to outline our district-wide rollout. During the 1920 school year, we began implementing the school-wide AVID framework that I've been talking about, and we launched the AVID Elective, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, in 9th grade at both of our high schools. In 2020-2021 school year, we expanded the elective course to 10th grade in both of our high schools. As we look to the 21-22 school year, school-wide AVID will be rolled out at Washington and Eisenhower elementary schools, as well as Longfellow and Whitman middle schools. Additionally, the AVID elective will be implemented in 7th grade at both middle schools. Implementation of AVID at the rest of our traditional elementary schools will take place over the 22-23 school years and 23-24 school years. This phased rollout will assist in ensuring that all of our educators have the necessary support to bring this level of learning to life. And of course, the phased rollout will allow all of us to continuously improve as we learn from one another, make assessments, and engage in professional learning along the way.
So I think now would be a good time if we can circle back to the secondary AVID elective course that you mentioned earlier.
Sure thing. The AVID Elective is currently a year-long course in our high schools in 9th and 10th grade. Next year, we will be adding 11th grade, as well as 7th grade, as I mentioned earlier. In the 22-23 school year, we will complete our implementation by adding in grades 8 and 12, with AVID students in 2023 being our first graduating class. These students will have been a part of the elective program since 9th grade. I'm so excited to hear their reflections on their journey, but I digress.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the students' journeys. What will that look like for these kids that choose to take the AVID elective?
So students are encouraged to begin their AVID elective journey in 7th grade and continue taking AVID electives through their high school career. Some students may not have any initial interest, but might decide later, for example, in 8th or 9th grade. that they want to explore the AVID elective. At that point, they can add the course in their schedule if there is room.
What about the actual classes? What should students expect if they sign up for an elective course for AVID?
Yeah, in the elective class, students receive 2 hours of instruction per week in college entry skills, 2 hours per week in tutor-led study groups, and 1 hour per week in motivational activities and academic survival skills. Students will also participate in the same Wicker strategies that I mentioned earlier.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? What exactly will the AVID elective look like in terms of a daily schedule?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So 2 days a week, students engage in weekly goal setting, study strategies, writing and reading activities, and note-taking. For example, Cornell note-taking. 2 days a week, students engage in tutorials and trained college students with trained college students. And 1 day a week, students engage in college readiness activities, binder checks, motivational activities, field trips, or presentations by guest speakers. I must mention that we've had to deviate from this plan a little bit this last year due to the global health crisis, but we plan to pick this back up next school year.
So I'm sure we have a lot of families and students who are interested in signing up for the AVID elective. Who do you think should consider adding that elective to their schedule?
So the AVID elective is geared towards students in the academic middle, meaning students that average B's and C's in their coursework. AVID students might be the first in their family to attend college, or they may be from a group of underrepresented racially, culturally, or economically in colleges and universities. AVID students must certainly have potential, but they may have special circumstances that could be obstacles to achievement. Most importantly, AVID students should have a positive attitude towards school and learning and have individual determination.
I know we've received an overwhelmingly positive response from staff and students involved in AVID, so it's excited to hear about the plans for expansion in all of our schools. So if families want to learn more about the expansion, who should they contact?
Additional information will be provided to families as AVID is implemented in their school. And if anyone has any questions about the framework expansion or the elective, they can reach out to their building principal. You can also contact me directly via email at marbletni@wauwatosa.k12.wi.us. Thank you for watching, and again, please keep an eye out for additional information as AVID is implemented in your child's school. Thank you.